Hello, welcome into the Martin Houston Show. I'm sorry, I apologize for that. It's actually the West Alabama Pigskin Preview Show, the high school Pigskin Preview Show. And we are getting things ready to roll right here on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC. We have a great show lined up for you right here tonight to get things rolling. And we would love to invite you to be a part of the conversation if you're tuned in on the live stream. We can take your thoughts, your comments, your questions. Our show for tonight is to bring in and highlight the Hillcrest Patriots as they are making the transition to 7A football. They have another tough one, and that can be the case each and every night that they take the field during this season. They're going to have a tough time getting out there, and we we're going to get with Coach here in just a moment. Coach Mitchell, talk with him about the season and see what's going on there. And we would love to invite you to get in on the conversation. 205-342-9904. That is the hotline for you to get in. So 205-342-9904. We want to go ahead and call Coach right now to get him in. X, are you in with me? X, you need to call the phone line. All right. Tell you what, we're going to go ahead and take an early break here, and so that we can get everything situated correctly here. We're going to go ahead and take a break, having a little technical difficulty. We're going to go ahead and take a break. We'll have X on with us, and we'll have Coach Mitchell when we come back. We appreciate your patience as we work through the technical difficulties. Thank you.
Alabama's roadway.
We're making improvements and helping our communities stay connected.
We're working hard to make sure you're safe on the road. Now we need your help to make sure we're safe too.
Alabama's move over law requires you to move over a lane when you see flashing lights on the roadside. And if you can't safely move over, please slow down.
Visit drivesafealabama.org, brought to you by the Alabama Department of Transportation, Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Are you receiving unemployment? Your benefits could be at risk. Here's how you can protect yourself and your benefits. Never respond to mail notifying you of a false claim in your name. Never answer a text message asking you to verify your account. And only respond to official Alabama Department of Labor's social media pages. Report fraud at labor.alabama.gov/fraud. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Labor, ABA, and the station. The Alabama Department of Labor is an equal opportunity employer program. Auxiliary aids and services available upon request to individuals with disabilities. Dial 711 for TTY accessibility.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. It paid for me to be the first person in my family to go to school. That education got me to the first day at my dream job, which I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job and the home loan benefits I got from the Army National Guard helped me buy my first house. I also know that I will be one of the first to respond if my community ever needs me.
Sponsored by the Alabama Army National Guard. Aired by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
Welcome back again to the West Alabama High School Pigskin Preview Show. Mark Houston and Xavier Houston joining as well. We want to thank you for joining us on this Thursday afternoon as we highlight Hewitt-Trussville and the Hillcrest Patriots. We're going to welcome Coach Jamie Mitchell into the conversation. Good morning, Coach. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening, Coach. How you doing?
Like that, doesn't it? Yeah, that's for sure. We're doing well. I appreciate you having us.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. And know it's kind of busy for you and you got a lot on your plate. So we appreciate you taking time to do it. This is my first time officially getting to speak to you. So I know you've been here for a little while, but welcome to Tuscaloosa and welcome to high school football in Alabama.
Well, thank you so much. You know, been here for, I guess, 4 years, been in Tuscaloosa 3. So starting to learn my way around a little bit, you know, and we've enjoyed our time here. Spent a lot of time in Mississippi and a little bit in Arkansas. So been around the block, and this is a really good place. We've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, Coach, you know, you had some big time success at high levels, and it's, you know, been some transition time, and I think you were finally getting things where you wanted them to go. And of course, in Alabama, about every 2 years they make a big change. Talk to us a little bit about the difference between what you've seen. I know you won a state championship in Starkville at 5A and in Arkansas in 7A. So you've played at the highest levels, respectively. What's been the biggest change coming to Alabama and high school football in Alabama for you?
Yeah, I get that asked a lot of times from buddies in, you know, all 3 states. And, you know, I'll be honest, you know, football's football, kids are kids. You know, every state's a little bit different. You know, I think just from the population standpoint, you know, Alabama's twice the population of Mississippi. So, you know, I guess I spent 26 years in Mississippi, retired, and the talent level there and here are very, very similar, just in the fact of some really high-end players. But, you know, I think you find more in Alabama simply because of the population. But as far as the top-end kids, I think, you know, you find it very similar. And, you know, Arkansas is probably not as hotly recruited, just don't have quite the top-end talent. But, you know, I've said a lot of times, you know, I mean, I really feel like, I don't mean this in a bad way, but probably the best coaching that I've seen has been in Arkansas. And I think it's just that, you know, so many of those coaches have to do more or less. And, you know, they're squeezing every ounce that they can get. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way at all. There's outstanding coaches in all 3 states, you know. But, you know, it's you know, facility-wise, Arkansas is way, way ahead of both Mississippi and Alabama. But, you know, they all 3 have their nuances. You know, it's been a really fun experience to be in all 3.
All right, Coach. As we prepare to, you know, help you guys, as I say help you guys, since I love highlighting high school football, especially football in the Tuscaloosa area. Coach, you've had big success here, you know, in this in region play and in 6A. What's been the biggest change or transition for you as far as making this move?
Well, it's probably 3 things combined. You know, we simply have lost some unbelievably good football players. You know, we've graduated some outstanding talent. I think we've had 26 guys in the last 3 years sign college football scholarships, which is just outstanding. You know, so yeah, that's pretty crazy. You know. But we, you know, of all years, this would be the worst one of all. You know, just simply because, you know, our talent's a little bit down from what it has been, and you know, we're having to play some young players that they're just not quite ready. You know, and then on the second part of that is, you know, some of our older players that are getting a chance to play now. There's zero experience there. You know, they've waited their time, and you know, now they're in that spot, and you know, so I mean, it's young players partnered with older players with very little experience, and then, you know, the injury bug has really bitten us. But all of that said, people that's a loser's limp and, bad talk and all that. So I don't want to make any excuses at all. We got to play better football. And but those are three things that we're really, really struggling with. And, we're the second smallest 7A in the state of Alabama. So, you combine all of those things together, and we've struggled the last couple of weeks. Played pretty dang good against Hoover. The score, was really kind of not indicative. We had a touchdown call back, and then 2 long runs down inside the 10 that we ended up getting 2 field goals out of that we should have, finished drives on. And that ball game's a lot different deal. And we played as bad as you could play last Friday against Best State. You give them all the credit, but we just completely played an egg and just didn't perform.
Yeah, Coach, Xavier's going to have a question for you, but you brought up last week's game. Everything kind of got thrown out of kilter last week, right? And having a young team and an inexperienced team, I'm sure that playing early and because of weather and all of that probably also kind of threw those young guys and inexperienced guys out of kilter.
Well, we'd like to say that and blame it on that, I reckon. But, football's football, man, and we should have been ready if they said play at 10 o'clock in the parking lot. We got to be ready to go, it just that's the way our mentality's got to be. And,
absolutely.
And like I say, I mean, I got to give Vestavia, all the credit in the world. They just absolutely whipped our tail. And, just wasn't. We just didn't have an answer, and I hadn't been on many of those. Don't like the way they feel or taste, but you stay in this business long enough, you're gonna have some of those. And heck, it doesn't get any easier tomorrow night with a trip to Hewitt. So we've got to put the pieces back together and get back in the saddle and be ready to go.
X.
How you doing, Coach?
Doing great.
Good. Coach, when you were talking about the injury bug, because I know a couple years ago you had a really talented quarterback, Ethan Crawford, that went down right at the start of the playoffs. And I think if he doesn't get hurt, you really make some noise in those playoffs. But things happen, as you said, with the injuries that you had this year. What are you trying to do as a team to overcome those?
So, for the first time, and this is crazy to say, we talked about this in the staff meeting 2 weeks ago. It's been 3 years, almost to the date that we had lost a regular season game. And for our kids to come back to practice on a Monday after a loss had not happened in almost 3 years to the calendar date. And, our guys walked in and didn't know what to do. Our coaching staff was in shock. We have not experienced that over the last 3 years. And, we're trying to figure out how to respond after a loss and how to respond when things don't go the way that you want them to. And, it's an extremely difficult job right now because our program simply has not, we've lost 2 games in the last 2 years, and both of those have been the last game of the year. So, and then, 3 years ago, we lose in the semifinals and, had won, I think, 8 in a row to get to that point. And, and like you said, I mean, we lost Ethan in year 2. We had an outstanding football team, and, we lost him in the last game of the year with a torn ACL, and would love to have known where that would have finished, But heck, you just can't. Football is a game of that, man. Soccer is too. Basketball is. You can't. You got to go practice and play, and you hope and pray. And you guys have been around it a long, long time too. Some years it just seems like it comes and grows. This year, for whatever reason, we've had a bucket full of.
Hey, Coach, as you look, go ahead, X. Go ahead.
And with that, yeah, I know you're going to keep these guys engaged. I've been around your program the last 2 years to see how that is. What's the next step? As you said, like these seniors, they barely lost in high school. And then you look at the underclassmen as well. 2 losses, and this junior class, they had 2 losses in their first 2 years of high school. What's the mentality that y'all are bringing, or the players that are bringing, to bounce back from that?
I challenge our football team every year. We're living off the last 2 years or 3 years tradition, and we haven't done anything to garner the respect that our program has got. Every year is a new book, and we've got to write that book, and every chapter is, it's a 10 chapter book, and each week you get a chance to write a new chapter. And our deal right now is just to try to keep. I'm just a huge believer, man. When you win, you beat them down, and when you lose, you build them up. And right now, we're in that phase, just trying to find some confidence in some things that we're doing well, expound on those, certainly identify the negatives. You can't turn your head to that, but we've got to continue to be a confident football team, and that's hard to do when you take a loss like we took last week. Like I said earlier, the Hoover game's a totally different deal. We played a good football game that night. Just the scoreboard didn't indicate it, but I can live with that kind of football, and we just didn't do that last Friday against Vestavia.
Coach, let me before I want to ask you a couple specific questions about tomorrow night, but I've been here. I'm 54 years old. Been here since 1988. When I came here to play ball, and have coached. It's probably going to really age me too. I coached in para some form of little league sports, football, basketball, baseball, for 25, 26 plus years. And one of my biggest frustrations was always that I don't think we have the best little league programs around. And you don't have to say anything or not on that.
Well, I totally agree.
But that was going to be my next question is how different, because you talk about the top end talent. I think there's a lot more talented kids, and I don't think that sometimes I think the talented kids are walking in the hallways. How different have you seen that in the places you've been? Because being in the shadow of Bryant Denny, you would think that if any sport in this town would have an absolute amazing little league to middle school to high school program, it would be in Tuscaloosa. But that hasn't been my case as a whole in 25, 26 plus years of being involved. And that used to be the strength of Hillcrest. And I don't know what's happened or what's going on since Rich Wingo and that crew left.
Yes. Great name there for sure. And at first I'd like to thank you for your service in that, and there's just, the youth league is so vital. I was at North Little Rock in Arkansas, just a massive, 3,400 students there. And we had just, I would go on Saturday mornings and I would watch, our youth program, and it just blew my mind at the step-by-step progression and the staff that we had there that worked with those coaches and the clinicing that we did with them, and you saw that fruit grow very quickly. And, very similar to that in Starkville and even in Olive Branch when I was in Olive Branch in Mississippi. And, you hit a nerve there. My understanding was that Hillcrest had an outstanding youth program back before several years, and I'm not sure how it died or where it went, but we have secured back at our school and at our stadium a youth program this year, and I tell you what, it warms my heart, man. I walk out every night at 7-8 o'clock, and man, there are hundreds of kids that are on our two practice fields and in our stadium, and that's where it's got to start, and football's taking a real beating with the injuries, and, so many moms are concerned, and rightfully so, that's just part of it, but, there's so much negative around the game, and people that don't understand, the value, the life lessons that I think the three of us all know, what it brings to young men is second to none. It's the best thing in the world for kids. And, we've just got to do a great job of promoting it. We got to do as coaches. I think it's our job to go out and really try to secure youth programs that are that are free to use your facilities, be in your area, on your turf. You know, we've got cheerleaders, we've got football players, we got moms and grandmamas. You know, it's really, really cool to see. And, you know, my hope is that we can really grow this and, you know, get it going back. And, you know, those kids, grow up. And, you know, to me, it's a big deal for those kids to look forward to being a Patriot. And, you know, for that 5th, 6th, 7th grade year, you know, that anticipation to build. And, you know, to me, that's where tradition grows. And, you know, they're part of that foundation that you just want to build on. And, you know, high school football is very different nowadays. I'm 58, so a little older than you, but, you know, it's changed so much in the fact that when you and I played, wherever you grew up, whether you went to school there, and that's where Daddy said you were going to go, and that's just, you know, that's what you did. And in today's world, parents have become very mobile, and, you know, the decision-making of making my kid or moving my kid to this program or that program, like it or not, that's the market that high school football is, you know. So we've got to do a great job at Hillcrest in promoting our program, promoting our school, promoting the academics, you know, and certainly promoting football, and, you know, have a product that, you know, people can feel really good about.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, X.
Real quick, Coach. You talk about the program and building. You know, I have a 5-year-old son, and he started talking, wanting to play football, and I love that as a dad. You know, having the generational ties and love for the sport. And I'll tell you one thing: my wife always asks, "Where do you want the kids to go to school?" And I always say Hillcrest. Hillcrest, because of what you've done in the program that I've seen. That's where I would love for my son to play one day. If you could coach, that'd be even better. But yeah, I'm glad to know that the youth program is coming back in Hillcrest.
And Coach, I will tell you that, you know, Rich Wingo, who was my strength and conditioning coach for my first couple of years at Alabama, was, I know, part and partial to why that was such a program. The reason I was involved was to help, you know, make sure that it was good with my kids. But yeah, that Hillcrest program, it was a feeder. And I try to tell people, you know, the division that you're in, region you're in, they need to let you build up that program, because that's how you're going to get there. You're not gonna be able to compete at that level unless you have that great youth program. And I tell people, I can remember being a little kid practicing on the field next door to the high school, and John Hanna came and visited our high school. And I said, wow. I'm going to play. Wow. I said, I'm going to play over there one day so I can play where he plays. I mean,
absolutely. That's a great story.
You know, and people just don't get how powerful the influence can be, and you know, running those little jokers out there on Friday nights and in their jerseys and letting all the fans clap. That's how you build it back. So wish you nothing but the best. Couple quick questions, Coach. As you've already said, you got a tough one with Hewitt-Trussville. What's the keys to victory for the Patriots as they take on Hewitt-Trussville tomorrow night?
You know, man, we got to get off the field on defense. You know, and we've spent so much time. You know, and I mean, people want to argue that third down is the most important down in football, and I would argue that first down is. You know, and we have put ourselves in some good situations, and you know, we just have not been able to get off the field, and you know, offensively, just to be consistent, stay on schedule, and we're very different in what we do, and we're not the conventional high school football team you're going to see. So some of the things we do are very different. And for us to be successful, you know, being on schedule, being on time, not being behind the sticks are super, super important to us. And, you know, Hewitt really stresses you, man. They're going to press the pace like none other. You know, I've seen some teams and coached some teams against some teams that play at a breakneck speed, and you know, Hewitt may be one of the absolute fastest. You know, the ball's being snapped at the and the 40-second play clock generally around 32, 33 seconds. So there's 6 to 7 seconds from the time the play is over to the next one's being snapped. So they stress you tremendously, just in alignment, getting relocated, and, they make it impossible to communicate. It's just, you better have some one-word calls that you can get, and, they really, really stress you there. And then they're super sound defensively. And Josh Floyd's from Arkansas. I knew Josh, he came from Shiloh Christian, and, he was in Arkansas a little bit while I was there. And, I've known him for a long time, and he did a great job, built a massive program there at Shiloh Christian in Arkansas. And, he's done a great job at Hewitt. So they're always going to be in the mix. And, heck, we got to figure out a way to get in that mix. We're at the point where we absolutely must win a football game.
Coach, you still run a fullback?
We sure do. People don't know what those are anymore, but we play with a fullback and tight end, and I'm probably speaking Chinese to most every football fan out there, but we still run belly G, and we still run some midline, and so, that's kind of a lost art, but man, it has been some kind of good to me for 30 plus years, and we just, it's something that I'll never, ever not do. Don't get me wrong. We're big in the 10 personnel world and spread world too, but if you want to know the truth, I mean, our bread and butter is we're going to line up with a tight end and a fullback, and we're going to come downhill. And, it's just, if you ask our kids, I mean, that's when we get off the bus, that's who we're going to be, so, that's what we hang our hat on.
Well, Coach, I played fullback at Alabama, and they let us old heads get some NIL gear. One of the pieces that I made, I took Trump's line "Make America Great Again" and make fullbacks great again. So, I'm right there with you, Coach. Do you have anything else, Coach?
Coach, good luck tomorrow night. The last 2 weeks been rough, but I believe the way that you run your program, you'll be able to get these boys bounced back in the right way.
We're going to figure it out, man. I really appreciate y'all having us, and great day to be a Patriot, man.
Absolutely, Coach, and we so appreciate your time. And I have to get out there. I love the fullback, and so I may have to just come and watch a game just to see a fullback. So maybe
we'd love to have you. You'll see him 3.5 yards behind the quarterback. And listen, we're going to give him the football. He's just not a battering ram for us, man. He's going to tote the rock for us. And, we literally put some of our best players at fullback. It's a huge belief of mine. And, those guys have been super productive for us. And we'd love to have you come watch us. And you let me know if you come, and we'll sure take good care of you.
That sounds like a plan. Thanks, Coach. You have a good one.
You bet.
All right. Thanks. That's Coach Jamie Mitchell, the Hillcrest Patriots. And they have made the jump, as he said. We'll talk a little bit more about that on the other side, his challenges. But I love a coach that doesn't make any excuses, doesn't beat around the bush, just tells it like it is. You listen to the West Alabama High School Pigskin Preview Show. I want to thank Box Eye Care for making it possible. Box Eye Care, boxeyecare.com. Go check them out. 5003 Oscar Baxter Drive. They have a great new in-house lab, same great service, more inventory, and you can get in and out most of the time with your new vision, wear your new look in less than an hour. As Dr. Daniel Box and Eye Care right here on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9.
Go inside the Alabama Crimson Tide with the Gary Harris Show.
Coming up Friday morning at 9 a.m., it's the TGIF edition of the Gary Harris Show. We're going to get you ready for the weekend. We've got some great guests. Also, we will have our Bama football trivia giveaway, courtesy of T-Town Menswear and T-Town Gallery and University Mall. Going to give away another great full-size print, and I'll have my SEC point spread predictions. We're going to have some fun on the Friday edition of the Gary Harris Show, Friday morning at 9 a.m.
Catch the Gary Harris Show Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 a.m. on Tide 100.9 and Tide100.9.com.
365, 24/7. You'll find road and utility crews, tow trucks, law enforcement, and first responders working along Alabama's roadway.
We're making improvements and helping our communities stay connected.
We're working hard to make sure you're safe on the road. Now we need your help to make sure we're safe too.
Alabama's move over law requires you to move over a lane when you see flashing lights on the roadside. And if you can't safely move over, please slow down.
Visit drivesafealabama.org, brought to you by the Alabama Department of Transportation, Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Are you receiving unemployment? Your benefits could be at risk. Here's how you can protect yourself and your benefits. Never respond to mail notifying you of a false claim in your name. Never answer a text message asking you to verify your account. And only respond to official Alabama Department of Labor's social media pages. Report fraud at labor.alabama.gov/fraud. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Labor, ABA, and the station. The Alabama Department of Labor is an equal opportunity employer program. Auxiliary aids and services available upon request to individuals with disabilities. Dial 711 for TTY accessibility.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. It paid for me to be the first person in my family to go to school. That education got me to the first day at my dream job, which I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job and the home loan benefits I got from the Army National Guard helped me buy my first house. I also know that I will be one of the first to respond if my community ever needs me.
Sponsored by the Alabama Army National Guard, aired by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
Give Dixie Battery Supply a call and you'll never feel powerless again. Stock up with batteries from their Tuscaloosa and Northport stores. When you visit Dixie Battery Supply, you can count on finding every kind of battery you need from top battery brands. Or, hey, you may be in the market and need a reconditioned battery. They start at $39.99. Try and get rid of all those old batteries with no more juice left. They'll buy those back by the pound or by the unit. Don't contribute to pollution by just tossing them out. Turn to Dixie Battery Supply, and they will be there to help you. Regardless of what type of device you're looking to power up, you can power up those devices at Dixie Battery Supply. Call them at 205-758-9190, 205-758-9190, or visit DixieBatterySupply.com. And while you're there, ask them about those golf carts. They will take care of you. They buy junk batteries. That's DixieBatterySupply.com. All right, you're back in with Martin and Xavier with the West Alabama High School Pigskin Preview Show. Our game of the week is Hillcrest versus Hewitt-Trussville. Man, that was one of the most enjoyable conversations that I've had with one of the high school coaches, enjoying all of them, from Gordo to Fayette to Northridge, etc. We were attempting to get Northridge on, and we just weren't able to hook up with Northridge and Central because I wanted to highlight that game, and I actually got some stats that I'm going to share here in a little bit from make sure I don't misspeak his name, Michael Clements, who joins you, Wyatt, on Thursdays and gives an update. He sent me some interesting stats on the Northridge game. But before we get to that, X, what was your takeaway from Coach Mitchell? Man, I loved the conversation and that we had with him.
One thing I've heard from every coach is it's about the players and growing them. And we've heard it in different ways from Coach Jones and Brian and Coach Pippen. It was the mentoring side of it. With Coach Mitchell tonight, it was talking about, getting the young kids still involved in the game and learning the game, because that's how you grow a program. I can remember, when you're talking about what Rich Wingo and Hillcrest had that was back in my youth days of playing, and what they had was something special. And you saw that turn out on Friday night, for me, 5-6 years later, because all of those guys had played together since they were 7-8 years old. And that's so important to growing the game of football, especially with the way that it's going now, and with Hillcrest moving up to the 7A level, you really need that feeder to start not at the middle school level, but at the youth level.
Yeah, and what it does is it also, if you can teach similar schemes and learn the culture and all of that, it allows you to really get right into repping and practice. But he has a double whammy right now. Moving up to 7A would have been a tall order just in general, but especially with the fact that he's had two really, really strong classes, back-to-back classes, graduate, which meant that the younger guys weren't getting reps and opportunities to play. And now they're the juniors and seniors, but they haven't played much because during their freshman and sophomore year, they were, having to watch. And what he has to be careful with now, X, is he's having to play some sophomores, and I think even has a freshman that's starting, and then some young guys that's playing. He has to be careful that in 2 years he doesn't have a bunch of freshmen and sophomores that's getting all the reps, and he doesn't have any young guys getting any experience, so he doesn't repeat this cycle. Especially and the way you do that is that you develop a feeder program and you get people excited about the sport and investing in it. So wishing him nothing but the best. But I just, like I said, I love the honesty of, listen, we played good against Hoover and got beat because we didn't finish drives. And then last week we just stunk it up against, Vestavia Hills, and he said credit to them. So what were you saying?
No, I was just saying Vestavia was who they played last week.
Yeah.
Those classes that he had, man, is so much talent. Just to highlight some of those, it's Ethan Crawford, really talented quarterback. He's playing over at Southern Miss now. And then you look at a guy like a TJ Banks who transferred in last year. He's going to be a name that you hear in the SEC within the next couple years at Ole Miss. And that's just to highlight a couple of guys. There's so many kids that I've watched play there the last 2 years when I was covering games that are now playing at the collegiate level. He said 26 guys have signed,
which is crazy.
That's an outstanding number, and he's got more guys that his quarterback, Bryson Kimber, who's a senior, is committed to ULM Monroe. So this isn't going to stop, but he's going to get that program right. And one of the young guys I saw was a sophomore running back, Richie. That is a special young man, and is going to be a name that we hear in the recruiting ranks in the next couple of years.
Yeah, and so when you look at it, that's a very, very, very impressive stat. 26 guys signed in 2 years. That's about what would probably sign by if you add up all the schools in a typical 2-year period for all the schools in the city and county of Tuscaloosa. So kudos to him for understanding his challenge. And listen, I love the fact that he recognizes certain things, but if he can get the right talent in the numbers, I'm telling you that power offense and old school mentality, because it just creates a different style player, and people don't like to hear it, and they think I'm sometimes just blindly promoting the fullback, but the reality of it is that mindset that you develop as a fullback is so it's a tough, hard-nosed mindset that I think makes your entire team tough, hard-nosed, and physical. And so I was glad to hear him say that. So maybe between him and myself, we can make fullbacks great again. So, but X, we are going to talk about Northridge and Central. But what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit a few spots here, and then we'll come back after I finish up with those spots and pay a few bills. We'll transition that conversation. So I thank all of you so much for being a part of what we do. I want to thank the fine folks over at the pharmacy at Midtown. The pharmacy at Midtown, they do a great job with all that they provide. If you are looking for a pharmacy and you're a new patient, you need to give them a call, 205-579-9933. They have compounding, free delivery, along with they can help you with your immunization. They can help, walk you through the long-term care process, help you save on medicine, and so much more. Not your typical pharmacy. And they also sponsor the Martin Houston Show Free for All Friday, which will be tomorrow. As a pharmacy at Midtown, TJ and his team would love the opportunity to serve you. You can find them online at pharmacy@midtown.com. Also, we want to thank Houston Hydro Steam. Houston Hydro Steam, they will take care of you as well. Houston Hydro Steam and their ability to be able to help you with all of your cleaning needs when it comes to carpet. I love it. And when they say it is quality that you can walk on, that's Houston Hydro Steam. Jackie Houston and his team, they will take care of you. So give them a call, and you can call them at 205-553-9460. That is the number there, and you get free estimates. You get professionally trained technicians. You get appointments set around your schedule, no hidden charges, and extra care and attention. And then one last bill here. We need to tell you about the good folks over at North River Timber Company, LLC. North River Timber Company, LLC. If you have timberland in West Alabama and around the state, you need to call Courtney White or Chase Pearson. You can reach them at 205-242-5127 or 205-799-0665. That's North River Timber Company, LLC, timber harvesting, appraisals, land management, and more. Or email them at northrivertimberco@gmail.com. Courtney White says, if you have land, it's like having money in the bank and you need to maximize that potential. In order to maximize it, give Courtney White a call at 205-242-5127. That's North River Timber Company. That's North River Timber Company, LLC. Give them a call. And as we get ready to get out of here, I'll tell you a little bit more about what I'm doing to end the program. But X, let's transition that conversation to Northridge and Central. Man, now that's a region game, with them both being 6A schools now. It was a region game at one point. Then it y'all went up, they went down, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden it's now both 6A schools in terms of Northridge and Central. Listen to how close these two teams are. Passing yards, 433 for Northridge, 345 for Central. Pass touchdowns, 5 apiece. Run yards, 1,058. Northridge, 951 Central. Rush touchdowns, 9 for Northridge, 12 for Central. Total yards per game, 372 for Northridge, 324 for Central. Scoring, Central has them. This is in touchdowns and scoring. That's where Central has the lead, 26.5 to 32.5. This is kind of scary. Northridge has 11 fumbles, X. They've lost 7.
Oh, wow.
They've lost 7. Take a guess how many Central has.
2. I'll go 2.
0.
0. Wow.
0 fumbles, which is, that's, and so that, and there's 3 interceptions apiece. So the turnover margin for which not margin, but the total turnovers for Northridge is a total of 10 lost turnovers, but a total X of 14 like drops or potential turnovers, and Central sitting there at 3. So if that continues, you have to think that Central has a good shot of taking care of business. So and one other thought, and I'll get your thoughts real quick, and a couple other stats here, but they have 6 turnovers that have resulted in Prince. Actually, we got a call. Let's take this. Brady, you're in on the Empowerment Strategy and Solutions Hotline. What's on your mind, sir?
Not much, man. All right, so I got a quick question for you. I know you're getting close to the end of
You're fine.
end of the show. How do you think high school? So I played high school football. I graduated in 2021, so I'm a few years removed. But how do you? And I mean, the game looks different from when I played. Even now that if I go watch a high school football game, like they got these tablets on the sideline, they got these TVs everywhere. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think of just the modern era of the high school football? Because it's almost like just a junior college now.
Yeah, I'll let X respond, and then I'll give you my thoughts as well.
Yeah, Brady, you're my baby brother's age. He graduated in 2021, so it has changed a lot even in those 12 years from when I graduated in 09. There's no such thing as a tablet on the sideline or even the thoughts of it. The videos, it's a different game. It's a faster game. It's a more cerebral game from what I've seen change in my 15 years of being out. 16 years of being out.
Yeah, Brady, for me, well, let me ask you this, Brady. What do you think the biggest change is, and see if we think the same?
Since when I was playing,
Yeah.
probably those tablets. Like a lot of times we wouldn't get adjustments made until we got into the locker room at halftime.
Yeah. I would tell you. Go ahead.
The coaches, they'd get like a list together made of what they wanted to change and what they saw if they were giving us new looks or new schemes or something. But now they just go to the sideline after that drive and they're just looking at it there.
I would tell you one of the big things that I have seen, which I love, is I do think the level of coaching at the high school level, Brady, has continued to grow. In other words, there are guys who are coaching at this level who used to jump to the college level, sort of like the college pro coaches used to jump to the pros, and now they don't. So I do think that has helped the quality of coaches. I think technology has helped. I can tell you my first time going back out to coach at the high school level, Brady, I struggled because they didn't coach the key like we were coached during practice a lot and corrected during practice, but they all go so fast that you would coach when you watch film. And sometimes I think that can be really good if you getting good reps. I think it can be a negative if you're not getting good reps. And so that was go ahead.
You look at the 3 different levels of football, major levels of football now, high school, college, and the pros. They're all the same sport, but they're a different game, if that makes sense. They all played so much differently than each other.
Oh, totally different. And what's interesting is going to be interesting to see which one pushes up or down. Okay. I think we could possibly, Brady, see a physical form of football come back and take over at some point. The question is, which level will do it first? It's
definitely not going to be the NFL.
Right.
they won't let them hit each other.
Well, they won't let them hit each other. And this targeting and stuff in college is the worst rule ever. At least they don't throw people out for that in the pros. The college game is going too far with that. But I can tell you my biggest thing is I don't think it's as physical a game as it used to be. I think there are a lot of guys who play football now who wouldn't have been able to play when I played. And I'm not being ugly with that. And that's not a bad thing. It's just a different thing. So
Yeah, it's
anything else you got?
game nowadays, especially.
I got about a minute. You got anything else for us?
I hear you working for Realty One or Legends now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Working my uncle, man.
Which one?
Jeremy
Dot. Yeah, Jeremy. And of course,
Yeah.
Jeremy. Yeah. I just
And
started.
all your listeners know he'll sell you a house. So will Martin. All them boys up in there will sell you a house.
That's right. I appreciate it, Brady. Thank you
We'll
so
see y'all
much
later.
for calling. Yeah. Hey, X, you have a score prediction on either Northridge or Northridge and Central or the Hillcrest Hewitt-Trussville game?
I think both of these games are going to be close, competitive games. I want to see Hillcrest get back out on top, so I'll say in a close one, 24-21. Northridge Central, man, this is a tough one. Went to Northridge. My boy Pitt's the head coach at Central. I'm going to go Central. I think Central stays undefeated, though, in another tight game. I think those turnovers might doom Northridge a little bit.
Yeah, and their scoring is 60 points to 62. Northridge is only giving up 60. So they both playing good defense as well. So I think it's going to be a close one. They both played Calera as a common opponent. Northridge run 30-27. Central won 47-21. I got Central winning it. Want Northridge to pull it out, but I think Northridge wins it. Central wins it by 2 scores. Hey, listen, we appreciate you being a part of the program. If you want to call in, you always can. If you got a school or a player or something you want us to cover, shoot us a message. We'll go out and take care of them. That's Xavier Houston. I'm Martin Houston. And the other reason I'm able to do this is because I've started my own venture. It's called the Empowerment Strategies and Solutions Organization. We speak, we coach, and we train. And we have 3 focuses that we focus on. We want to empower leadership, want to advance financial literacy, and want to drive growth with a specialty and a focus in banking and real estate. I've recently joined Realty One Legends. You can call me at 205-826-1381, or you can email mhouston@bankingandrealestate@gmail.com, and I'll be glad to help you, whether you're looking to list, whether you're looking to buy. Let me do the shopping for you, or let me use technology, hard work, and that work ethic and discipline that I learned being a national champion. Let me put it to work for you. Realty One Group Legend, 205-826-1381 for your one source for all your real estate needs. It has been a pleasure serving you. Good luck, Northridge, Central, and Hillcrest Patriots. Remember this: trust in the Lord always, may not your own understanding, all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. Hold tight out to everybody, and go West Alabama High School football.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios.